Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dom, proud champion of Ishtar, and I welcome you back to the Academy. So, today I wanted to talk about the pagan roots of Halloween, and how different people celebrate Halloween around the world. Now, I know I'm a little late, it is November 2nd, however, I assure you, a wizard is never late, he arrives exactly when he intends to. Because today is Dia de los Muertos, and I thought today would actually be a perfect day to talk about some of this stuff. By the way, I'm burning this white magic incense again. Oh, there we go. This is quickly becoming one of my favorites. I really like the way this one smells. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this one, White Magic. But anyways, let's get right into the video, shall we? So, for those of you who don't know, Halloween traces its roots back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, although it's typically spelled more like Samhain, or Samhain, however you want to pronounce it. But with that being said, the actual pronunciation is Samhain. And fun fact, the character Sam in the movie Trick or Treat actually gets his name from that spelling of Samhain. It's a great Halloween time movie. I really can't recommend it enough. You guys should definitely check it out. It's actually my mom's favorite Halloween movie. So, held midway between the fall equinox and the winter solstice, Samhain was, and still is, typically celebrated on October 31st. And it's believed that during this time, the barrier between the physical realm and the spiritual realm was at its weakest. And we'll get more into that later. It also marks the end of the harvesting season, and welcomes the dark half of the year, as autumn and winter are naturally times of death and decay. And paganism offers us a way to try to coexist with these forces, rather than fight against them. And personally, this is something that really drew me to paganism, as I really like how it encourages people to respect and appreciate the forces of nature. I think a lot more people could do with learning to respect the forces of nature. So traditionally, Samhain was a festival that was held for 3 days and 3 nights, which actually ties in perfectly with the timing of this video since it's being uploaded on November 2nd, which would be the 3rd day of the festival. And you'll see as we go on how more of this stuff really ties together. I think it's pretty cool actually. So during this festival, they'd throw lavish feasts and drink lots of beer and mead. They'd also wear costumes to frighten off evil spirits who may have crossed over during this time. And for similar reasons, they'd also light large bonfires that people could use to keep their hearths burning throughout the night. In many cultures, it's believed that the hearth fire is sacred and protective. And this particular Celtic tradition is just one of many examples. So in Norse paganism, for example, we also have a goddess of the hearth, with that being the goddess Frigg. And like I said, it was thought that this hearth fire would watch over you and your family. And speaking of family, this was also a time to honor fallen loved ones and cherish their memory, which I think is a really cool aspect of the holiday that over here in America we've kinda lost. So going back to how I mentioned that they would throw lavish feasts, they would actually invite their ancestors to feast with them, and they wouldn't start eating until they did this invitation. And some of them would even leave offerings from the feast to their fallen loved ones. And it would typically be offerings of things that they enjoyed in life. And yeah, I just think that's a really cool tradition. I really like this idea of cherishing your ancestors, and it reminds me a lot of Dia de los Muertos. See, I told you a wizard arrives exactly when he intends to. Now, if you haven't seen the movie Coco, I think it actually does a really good job of introducing people to the holiday of Dia de los Muertos. My girlfriend showed it to me this Halloween, and I really enjoyed that movie. I love Disney movies, I love Pixar movies. I love how magical they feel, and I love how they inspire people. But yeah, Coco, really good movie, I really enjoyed it, and it was perfect for Halloween time. But speaking of Dia de los Muertos, it's obviously perfect for today, being that it's about Dia de los Muertos. So if you haven't seen the movie, or you don't really know much about the holiday, Dia de los Muertos is typically celebrating by building something called an ofrenda. Now, this is essentially an altar space that you dedicate to your fallen loved ones. And typically you'd put up pictures of them as well as offerings to them. And like I mentioned with the Celtic festival, you would typically offer things that they enjoyed in life. So yeah, it's interesting how these two different cultures with these two different holidays actually line up around the same time and contain very similar traditions. And this is an element of Halloween that I would really like to bring back. So for example, my girlfriend lives in the Philippines, and during Halloween time over there, people tend to visit cemeteries and spend time with the graves of their loved ones. And they would often throw picnics and barbecues in the cemetery, and they'd drink lots of beer and leave offerings for their loved ones. And the same thing is typically done for Dia de los Muertos. A lot of people will celebrate in the cemetery. And I just think this is so cool, and it's an element of the Samhain tradition that we really lost over here in America. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. How do you guys like to celebrate these holidays? And do you guys think that this focus on fallen loved ones should be added to our American version of Halloween? Because I really think it could be a good addition to our traditions. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.